Hello and welcome to Lesson 11 of National 5 Computing Science Database Design and Development. Today we're going to learn how to create a query that relies on two tables. In this case, we're going to get the dogs and the walkers. So that's two tables. Here's the database. We've got the dogs, we've got the walkers, but how do we create a query that can display data from both? We'll create a query in SQL view. And first we need to think, what is the information I need to show? This is the select. So 7 is where we're starting with here. Show the names of all dogs and the name of the dog walker who walks them. Well, if we look at the dog, they have a dog underscore name. So that's what we want to select first. Dog underscore name. What's next? The walker's name. Now the walker's name is forename and surname. Let's just do forename, comma, surname. So this is going to display the dog's name, then the forename, then the surname of the dog walker. From which tables do we get this data? Well, we get it from both the dog and the walker. The dog name comes from the dog table and the forename and surname comes from the walker table. And this is where it gets slightly interesting. How do we ensure that we get the dog and the walker that relates to each other? How do we make sure? Because if I run this, look at this, Bruce, 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 Bruce. We've got many, many Bruces. And we have, as you can see down the bottom, 260,000 results. But if you open the dog table, you'll notice we only have 650 dogs. So how is it possible that there could be 260,000 dogs being walked by walkers? This is clearly an error. And this is true because we haven't ensured that the walker that we're displaying here actually walks this dog. This is where we need to create a join. Now, there are many ways that you can, or not many, but there are multiple ways you can create the join between the dog table and the walker table. And what I find helpful is to look at the relationship. So if I go to Database Tools and Relationships, we can see that the walker table is related to the dog table and it's on the walker ID field. Technically, these field names can be different, but in this case, they're the same field name. And this is important to note because when we create the join, how we're going to do it is by saying we want to select the results where the walker ID in the walker table is equal to the dog walker ID, if that makes sense. So how do we do that? We say where, and we could say walker underscore ID equals walker underscore ID, but the problem with this is walker ID appears in more than one table, and it's going to tell us that. The specified field walker ID could refer to more than one table listed in the from clause of your SQL statement. So because it appears in the dog table and the walker table, we need to specify which table are we talking about. Well, it doesn't matter which one you do first. We could do dog and you do dot walker ID. This says that from the dog table, we'll get the walker ID field. We'll do here, we'll say walker ID. Now this will completely fix the issue. Let's run it. And here we can see that Blaze is walked by Stephen Daltrey, Harper is walked by Alice Janiak, and so on. We could double check this. I'm just going to pick on someone. Because this one has there are four here, I'm going to pick on Humphrey Sparrow. So Tilly, Bo, Juliet, and Angel are all walked by Humphrey Sparrow. We can double check this by going into the walker table. Let's find Humphrey Sparrow. Here we go, Humphrey Sparrow, that was quick. And open this up, we can see that Humphrey Sparrow walks Tilly, Bo, Juliet, and Angel. Exactly the results that we found. This is perfect. Let's do one of the other ones, and I'll let you have a chance to do the final two. So first, show the names of all dog walkers who walk Chihuahuas. Well, this is almost identical to what we just did, but first let me save it. Saved. And let me go into SQL view. And I'm just going to copy this because it is going to be basically the same, but the difference will be that it's only Chihuahuas I want to appear. So let's go to Query Design, SQL View. Let's just paste that old query in. So how do we ensure that the dogs who are walked by these walkers, that these dogs are Chihuahuas? How do we ensure that? Well, we just add an extra condition onto this where statement. We just say and breed equals Chihuahua. I don't know why I choose Chihuahua every time because it always trips me up when spelling. So if I run this, what do you think we'll see? We'll see a much smaller list, and these should all be Chihuahuas. We can double check this. Let's check Nero. It might be best to sort it. Let's sort it by, where is Nero? Oh, there he is. So here is Nero. Nero is a Chihuahua. We could double check that the person who we found actually walks Nero. So that's Bertie Garrett. I'm going to sort it by forename just to check. Here's Bertie Garrett. Who do you walk? You walk Nero the Chihuahua. Perfect. So that we can kind of tell that this is the correct result. So the only new thing really is that you have to include all the tables that are used in finding this information. And when you use multiple tables, you have to join them. This is called a join. You have to say that the primary and foreign keys are equal. In this case, the walker is the primary key and the dog walker ID is the foreign key, but it doesn't matter as long as when you've included two tables, you find the connection, the link between them, and you include that in your where clause. In the next one, we'll do the bottom two here.